state, our country, all things. Father, just continue to watch over us, give us wisdom, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
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 All righty. Ms. Jackson sent everybody our third version of the budget. Ms. Jackson's got the changes that she emailed out there also. So Ms. Jackson, if you want to start, and we'll review those to see if we have any other questions on that also, please, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start with SPLOS 4 fund, and that's in the revenue department. That's on page 27 of your budget.
Page 27.
Page 27. Okay, everyone there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The last budget item on that page, which is unexpended balance, which is fund balance. It increased by 150,000. And that was
on page 27.
on page 27.
Now, Rose, explain to them it increased from the last budget reading, not from last year.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
From the last budget reading, it increased by 150,000. Yeah, if you see on the page, that increased by 110,000, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's a total of 150.
We're talking about the 150,000. Miss Charlene,
yes, ma'am.
you on page 27?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on page 27, but I don't see none of what you're talking about. I see the 110,000 there.
Okay, that's what Nick was just saying.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry about the 110,000. That increase, what I'm talking about, the increase from the last budget reading, from the last time we had the budget study
Mm-hmm.
to now, that's what y'all increased it by 150. So that figure, that 839,000 you see right there for the proposed budget in the proposed budget column, you see that 839.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
used to be 689.
Mm-hmm.
That figure was 689,000. So it increased by 150,000. That's what y'all did at the last meeting. Y'all increased that by 150,000. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I say one thing or make a statement to Mr. Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Darton say he's trying to get on, so he's got a problem there somewhere trying to get on. Trying to get back in.
Okay.
Okay, flip over to page 30. It's the next change. And all of these figures that I'm going over in the SPLOS is due to that boring machine. So all of these, that's the reason why these figures are changing, is because of the boring machine that was put into the budget at the last meeting.
I got a question.
Okay.
The boring machine, and Anthony, tell me if I'm wrong or right, was 188,000, and we were getting 55,000 trade-in. So that should be more like 133.
I think it was like 250,000. It was 250.
Yeah,
The boring machine was going to be 250 with a $50,000 trade in.
188. Okay.
198, Nick, is the price of
Okay.
doing it.
I was starting in the wrong place.
The 188, I believe, was the price for contracting that job out.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody on page 30?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, water department projects, and that number is 44001. It's at the top section, 44001, 541407. That's the first line item on that page. Okay, right now, the second column that represents the proposed budget figure, which is 0, that figure was 50,000 when we had our last meeting, and y'all took that 50,000 out. So now it's 0. And keep in mind, all of these figures that's changing in this fund is due to the boring machine, purchasing the boring machine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, still on page 30, we added a new line item for the purchase of the boring machine, and that is the second line item on that page. 542101, second line item. You'll see in the second column it say 200,000. Before, the line item wasn't even in the budget. We added this line item for the boring machine, so now it says 200,000 for the boring machine.
Boy, it's sure easy to add money in it.
It is.
Just add a line right in.
That's it. That's all you got to do. And then on pages, you don't have to flip unless you want to. Pages 27, 28, and 30, they all have totals on those pages. The first one is the total of the revenue. The second total on page 28 is the summary of the expenditures. And then the 30 is the detail of the expenditures. So all three, the 27, 28, and 30 are just totals
Of SPOS 4.
of SPLOS 4 that changed. So the old total was 1,838,000, and now the new total is 1,988,000 for an increase in the SPLOS 4 fund of 150,000.
Hmm.
And all of those changes were due to the boring machine. Everybody good?
I am.
All right. Moving on to water and sewer fund. That's on page 34. Okay, unexpended balance. That account number is 389005, and it's 4 up from the bottom. 389005 unexpended balance. That figure was, before we made the changes at the last meeting, that figure used to be 2,445,950. Now it is 1,295,950. That's a big change.
Downward.
So that's decreased.
150.
No, not 150.
No,
1,150,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big decrease. And then page 37. And this is a line item that was inserted into the budget, meaning it was not in the previous budget. Now it's in this draft. It wasn't in the second draft, it's in the third draft. So page 37, that new account number is 521204. And that's 1 up from the bottom.
Yep.
And the name of that account is Sewer Study. And Anthony, they explained all that to you all at the last meeting, and Bill Schumann. But that is 41,000 that's been added to the budget. So that's a totally new account. And then turn it over to page 38.
Can I ask just one question?
Yes.
Anthony, how did we come up with that figure? 41,000? That was, is that just a projected?
Yeah,
But
that's the figure that I was given by an engineering firm. When I started looking into this, he said that would be a good figure to start out with. And now this is a whole different scope, really. from what that was originally for. So now we're going to use that to do a sewer study to get a better grasp of the impacts the industrial park will have, and kind of help us determine which area or which direction to take that flow.
Instead of
We're-
taking it through. Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of that legwork also. I think we're gonna be able to save a good bit of money. Anthony's been working on it, and also Patrick and Alan Boyd. We met in the office on 2 or 3 occasions. We got some pretty good ideas that we hadn't thought about earlier. So,
Okay, Ms. Jackson?
Okay, moving to page 38. This is another brand new account that was inserted into the budget since the last meeting. And that account number is 523903. Do you see that number? It's about middle ways, the page. And the name of that account is smartphone meter reading. That's reading the meters using the smartphone instead of the handhelds that we have now.
Okay.
In the second column, it shows 9,000. Before it was, this account wasn't even in the budget. So now it shows 9,000. So that's a brand new account added in, and the cost is 9,000, estimated cost.
So basically what we did, we took $1.2 million away from Mr. Crawford and ended up giving it back right at 200,000, wasn't
Right.
it?
Repeat that. Repeat
Well,
that.
what-
man, what you
It
said.
actually wasn't all in the same fund.
Yeah. What actually
Yeah.
we did, we did away, we postponed spending the $1.2 million for the automated meter readers.
Yes,
We took that out of the budget, 1.2 million, and then
we
Just
took that out of
smartphone.
the sewer fund. That 200 that you're talking about, that's in SPLOST 4. So
yeah,
the water and sewer fund looking really good.
keep in mind also that it'll be an expense now, but we'll actually save that much money. And Anthony probably can give you some cases that we're planning on doing with that boring machine that will save approximately that much. Maybe not in a year, but in 2-3 years, it'll pay for itself plus.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely pay for itself in just a few bores.
all right.
Okay, moving right along. We still, okay, page 39 is the next change. And this is where the chop came from. And that number is 542504. And that's about 5 numbers up from the bottom.
Yep.
Automated meters. The second column shows, the second column is the proposed budget column. Now it's showing 0. Before it was showing 1,200,000, 1.2 million. So that was cut out of the budget completely. So that's a decrease of 1.2 million.
Good.
And then pages 35 is just like the other fund. Pages 35, these are just the totals of each one of these sections. Pages 35, 36, and 44. The total of the water and sewer fund budget was previously 6,788,450. Now it has decreased to 5,638,450 for a difference of a decrease of 1,150,000 for the water and sewer fund budget.
Very good, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
All right, moving to page 44, and this is solid waste fund.
I mean, 45.
Oh, did I say 40 to 45? I'm sorry if I said something else. Page 45. This is the revenue section. And we're looking about halfway down the page. Convenience center fees, convenience center, the fees for that. That second column is showing 0. It used to be $20,000.
What page is that, Miss Jackson?
Page 45.
Page 45. Y'all, I'm sorry. Larry had my internet cut off. He didn't pay the bill, so I'm fighting this thing.
Okay.
So what was our, what did we finally, we were gonna do away with the convenience, and we're just gonna send people to 301. Is that right, Mike?
That's correct.
Uh,
Actually, you know, it shows that we're taking out 20,000 revenue, but there's probably 18,000 in expense. So I think it's a pretty good deal for us. And there again, we're not competing with the private enterprise. And I've talked with him in the last couple of days. He's pretty excited about us doing that.
We still have the opportunity though, when Miss Armstrong, when we do the cleanup for the city, to be able to use it.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, be able to use our center.
Or he bring it, if we use our center, he bring a dump body or dump whatever thing is and put it out there.
I think he would bring us a roll off or either haul one of ours.
That's
We'd
what we
like that
moved
with
the $20,000 for, is for stuff like that.
Do what now?
We cut out the revenue, but we kept the expenditure of 20,000, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
we
kept
did
it.
that because of just what you said, Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't cost near $20,000. Our fees won't be anywhere close to that.
And
Okay.
That's $10,000 hauling every day.
the expenditures actually is the first line item on page 47. That's the convenience center expenditures. That's actually 15,000. But we kept the expenditure. We did away
Okay.
with the revenue, we kept the expenditure.
We actually could put that in solid waste fund, but I'm good with it where it is. We'll just make sure we get it itemized correctly.
No, it's already in solid waste fund at 15,000.
Well, I'm talking about you could put it in your disposal costs and just increase it by 5,000. But I'm good with it, especially the first year. We'll straighten it out in mid.
Okay. All righty. We're still on page 45. Unexpended balance. That number is this last line item. Unexpended balance
You say on 45.
on 45.
Stay on 45.
Still on
Okay.
45. That number sounds familiar? 45.
You're
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Are we
page
on 45?
Page 45.
Okay.
Okay. Unexpended balance. It used to be 128,900. Now the new figure is showing 148,900 for an increase of 20,000. So when we took that revenue out, we had to absorb it in the unexpended balance, which is fund balance. And then the totals on page 45 and 47, the totals change. Well, no change because we absorbed it in the fund balance. So there's no change to the solid waste fund totals as the grand total.
Excuse me.
Grand total of the revenue and grand total of the expenditures, there was no change because all we did is swap it around. Okay. And then on SPLOST 4 fund, I just trying to make the budget easier for you all to read and comprehend when we're doing the monthly financial reviews. So what I did is I changed all of the projects, like the police department projects, fire department projects account, changed that and put this money into contingency fund. So it works just like the general contingency and water and sewer fund contingency, where anytime any unexpected expense come up, it will be subtracted from the contingency balance, whatever that department has, and then a new account will be added to say what it was, just like when we purchased the flashing lights for the school. Y'all didn't know what that was.
Commissioner Harris?
But don't we have to be careful because that SPOS has to be for capital projects and not just for paying the bills?
It's, those SPOS funds are earmarked.
Yeah.
Well, but my point is, we need to be careful calling it contingency, and we don't just go out and get it. I mean, it's fine, us 9 sitting right here today, but down the road, somebody say, oh, we have this or that, and I just don't want it to be misappropriated by accident.
It'll be,
Yeah.
In other words, Rose, I like the better capital projects than contingency.
Well, in capital, the reason why I made the change because that came up before in one of our meetings, or more than one of our meetings, where everything was lumped together and it was hard for you all to know what was purchased.
it'll have to
But we're
be in
still
a,
gonna wanna know what's purchased.
Yeah, this way you will know. I'm not gonna charge it to contingency. I'm gonna take that money out of contingency and call it entitled that line item what was purchased. If it was a project, we're gonna call it that. If it was a purchase, legitimate purchase, because we know we can't spend it on anything when
Okay.
it's SPLOS funds.
it'll
So
be
what
in a
you
purchase order. If it's under a certain amount, if it's over, y'all will know about it. Y'all will approve it.
And it's,
Correct me, I'm gonna say, Miss Jackson, what you were saying just now is that, you'll take it out of the contingency, but when it's bought, you'll say it came from the splosh or from under splosh
Yeah,
4?
I won't move the money out of SPLOS. It will always stay in SPLOS.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm going to do is when something comes up, Mr. Deal approves any kind of purchase, it has to be a qualified expense.
What it was allotted for.
Yes, we can't just go out and buy anything,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Deal knows that.
So it'll be approved and we'll show in the financials that we're removing it from contingency to purchase.
Right.
Okay.
Right now, it's not allocated to anything right now.
But we would vote on it to move it out of the contingency.
Right, Mr. Deal will approve it if it's in his approval range, and once it gets out of his approval range, then y'all will approve it.
Okay.
And that way, it'll always show a detail of what was purchased and what the money was spent on, if it was a project or whatever.
Okay.
Because all the money that we're spending now, all of it's not projects. That was the problem. Is all of it was not projects.
sometimes it's like Nick was, it's just the appearance. And if they were, if it was ever reviewed by somebody, whoever, could they really tell what was going? I mean,
It's audited. It's audited every year.
Yeah, and I actually had one department head that asked me about his projects. He was like, I didn't put anything in the budget for projects. What is this money for? He didn't even know. But it wasn't for anything in specific. It's for whatever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And that money that says project, it's not for you know, repairing the sidewalk. It wasn't allocated for anything. It's just for projects, whatever project came up.
But his project that comes up, it's got to be
It's got to
allocated
be
into the
qualified project. And like I say, all the things that's been spent on out of SPLOST 4 funds, all of it was not projects. Just like when we purchased milling, that wasn't a project, that was just a purchase.
All righty.
I got
Mhm.
one other question.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Down at the very bottom, this park and tree department. Where will we need $50,000 on that to redo some trees or around the center or what?
It's just what's allocated to parking tree. Cause it was already in the budget, that 50,000, they had it in the budget, in the current budget, they had 50,000. So,
Excuse me,
so
Ray.
it's just,
If we do that park, next to the mayor's office, that'll come out of that. Probably won't be enough. We have to bring some more on, but it's kind of a, matching type deal.
Are we still talking about doing that? Because the other parking lot down there don't never be full. Nobody's never in there.
Yeah, but this is a little bit different thing.
It's more of a green space, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more of a green space.
I've got
Just
a
to clean it
question
up.
about that, Rose. On your cover letter, we've got budgeted $250,000, but in the budget you've got 125. Where's the other 125?
the 125, they was split, police department and fire department, that what you're talking about?
No, ma'am. About
trying
the
to-
downtown parking expansion.
The downtown master plan.
It was split up. Let me get to it. It was split between the parking lot and something else. Let me see.
I know, but my point is, you've got on your cover letter, the
250,000.
city's downtown parking lot are planned to be completed this year. Total amount budgeted is $250,000. In the budget, it says only 125.
One
So
of
you-
it's in the streetscape, I believe, Rose.
Yeah, the master plan projects. It's a downtown master plan projects, including extending the city's downtown parking. So I'm talking about the 250,000 represents the downtown master plan projects. That's the allocation. The 250,000 is allocated to the downtown master plan projects, not just the parking lot. It includes in parking lot.
Oh, okay,
That's included in that figure. It's what it's saying.
okay. And 2 garbage trucks for $260,000.
Yes,
We've
that's
only
coming
got
out
one
of
in
the
the budget.
Say again, Nick?
A garbage truck, you can't buy 2 garbage trucks for $260,000.
We're not buying 2. We're buying the one this year. We probably
Then
need.
that just needs to be changed to 1 garbage truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want things to match if somebody reads it and there's not discrepancies.
Right, exactly.
And they'll come up asking us where the 2 and we only got 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be changed, just automatically changing that to 1 instead of 2.
That's
Yeah.
on your cover letter, Miss Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
It would be good if we could get 2 for that amount.
Okay. They would be used, though. I can promise.
Yeah.
What,
We
how many
need
work
to.
you have to get to pull them?
Yeah,
Riven's
we
got
need
one
to.
for sale.
No. We,
Okay, I changed that to a garbage truck is planned to be purchased.
Mm-hmm.
So if 1 garbage truck is 260,000, that's what we're changing to 1.
Okay.
Okay.
we've discussed a lease plan where we can turn it back in 5 years, but we didn't get the reaction we really wanted yet. So we'll propose that next year if we can get it worked out.
I think that's how that 2 garbage trucks got in there.
It is. You're right.
All righty. Any other questions from Ms. Jackson and Mr. Deal? I want to thank them and all the department heads for really sharpening up their pencil. I think y'all saw the comments from Commissioner Harris, how one of the departments, the police department did with their budget. So we appreciate that and the hard work that they've done on getting this budget together, and appreciate Mr. Crawford giving us a chance to put on hold his $1.2 million toys to allow us to do some other things. And we'll all, we'll be watching the revenues in the budget carefully and keeping an eye on it, because we, as Commissioner Harris said, and I said earlier, we're looking at probably a 2-year period that we've got to watch this stuff to make sure that we don't get upside down. There's a lot of folks that's going to be upside down, and hopefully we've done a good enough job. Mr. Deal and Ms. Jackson and the department heads have done a good enough job to keep us going in the direction we need to be going with our budget. So
one other thing we need to be aware of, new industrial park has been purchased. That'll be years before it gets online, but that's going to be a major expense to reroute that sewer. Now they're looking at some money from the federal government and state government also to help us out. So we'll bring that to you as it comes up.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Deal, have you talked any more to Josh, or all of us need to get together and talk more about the concerted services building?
Yes, and he don't have all his plans together. He's working on them, on whether he needs that entire building or we can split it off for that other purpose that we talked about. I don't think he knows exactly what he needs yet until we get in, and we might get him some help from somebody else to design that building.
Mm-hmm.
So we are working on it. We talk about it pretty often.
So
Well,
I just
also
need to
we-
tell the other person to just hold off and wait a little while. They can't wait too long because they're mess around if he done went on someplace else.
Yeah, I
No.
think so. What we don't need to do is sell something that we're going to need later down the road.
Mhm.
But we should have those plans pretty quick.
Okay.
I noticed that building this week is needing, it looks like some just TLC on the outside. Some weeds growing up around it and stuff. I know we're not using it, but appearance on the outside, we need to probably look at that.
We'll get on that.
All right, just to if you will, Mr. Deal, so they'll be aware of it. I think you had you and Chief Lane had a visit about the activity for Saturday. Can you inform us all of it?
Yeah, Chief Lane has worked out pretty much all the details. He's pretty good with it. We talked about it at length today. They're going to gather up around Cracker Williams and go down to the police department and cut through and go, I think, to the courthouse. I guess they got that worked out with the county. But I'll talk to him again tomorrow. We're supposed to meet and discuss the full route and get a copy of the route and everything so we can make sure everything's safe.
So he doesn't have to have any DOT permissions since all this is on city streets?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking about this deal that came from last week where they was wanting to leave the farmer's market and
Yes, ma'am.
come. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, after Mr. Deal and Chief Lane discussed with them about not coming across the railroad tracks, then they changed the route and all, which is fine now. I mean, I guess they're still trying to work with the county on using the courthouse.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. He's going to have to get with the county on that. Our building.
But I just wanted y'all to know that it wasn't that the route had changed and they got across the railroad track like we had asked them not to go across the railroad track. So they've made adjustments and I don't know of a time yet. Do you, Mr. Deal?
I
No,
think that was 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
11
been
o'clock?
posted. Yeah, it's been
I'm
posted.
thinking it's showing 11 o'clock. There's an ad on the facing book, and I believe it's saying 11 o'clock, starts at
Yep.
11.
And the face, under what, y'all know what it's under?
Mm-mm. Look for Iman Johnson web page, because she was carrying it too. Iman Johnson.
Iman?
Uh-huh.
Eleven a.m.
And-
June 13th.
Yep.
Line
And
up
just
at
for-
10:30 at Cracker Williams Park.
Okay.
For FYI, Barbara and I will be leaving Friday, and we won't be back in town until Monday afternoon. So we won't be here this weekend.
Be careful.
Yep.
Thank you.
End up at 12 noon at the courthouse.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I have a question for you. I've got a call on person wanting to know about the swimming pool, what the status of the pool is, and I don't know. Can you kind of bring us up to date on that?
We got to go in and dig it out first, and I talked with Alan Boyd. He said he can do all of that work, and we just got to get going on it, get some of these other projects out of the way. If we do that trunk line I'm talking about, that's going to probably cut into some of that work. But I think we can get it going pretty quickly.
They mentioned it. Somebody said it would be 2 years before it would be open. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
I was kind of hoping we'd get it open by next summer.
All right, I believe that's doable.
Well, Mr. Crawford is here. Can you explain to us about the email that we got that was sent out to us about the water damages, the bad
Nope.
water?
Oh, yeah.
Bacteria in the water?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're looking into that. We tested it for bacteria Wednesday when we first got the complaint. Dan and Richard went to her residence, and it showed on the report that she was diagnosed with Giardia. So we ordered a test kit for Giardia, which is a parasite. That test kit was like $800.
Dang.
But we are purchasing it to run a test. It should be in tomorrow, I hope. But I'm confident we don't have Giardia in the water system.
One other thing, Mayor, I told you that we did get a copy of that report. It's not written on that report, but we found out today, we think the doctor told her that it come from city water. So we need that addressed at the hospital if he did.
Is it on the report?
It is not on the report.
No, that's what she told my operators when they went to her
Okay.
house.
All right. I'll check with Mr. Irati. I'll call him in the morning.
And after our guys visiting the house, it probably come from the house or from a dirty baking cup of
Who was a physician?
green. Is that right, Anthony? When it
Dr.
green?
Green, yes.
And that was on, she went to the hospital on what day?
It was reported to us on Wednesday.
Was it
I
her or
don't know
one
if she
of her
went. I don't
children?
know if she went Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning.
Was it her or one of the kids? Her
Her.
It
child?
was her.
Her? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will check with Mr. Irati, and when I find that out, I'll send y'all a text, let you know what was come of that.
But
Because he
it's
don't
only
be
just,
saying that if he don't know.
so it's just one household that we're talking about?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, this past weekend working in the yard, I must have drank 24 glasses of water right out of the tap. I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
If it
Mayor?
was in the water, everybody would be sick.
That's what I'm thinking too.
We
Yeah.
test our water.
Charlie's doing all right, so we okay. He's the test rat.
Well, Larry's doing okay too, and you want to know what was I cooking? I think he's fixing them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich now.
All righty. Well, I thank everyone. Thank y'all. And we're going to have our next meeting will be on June the 16th at 5 o'clock for the first reading of the budget. And that's going to be in the afternoon at the Cracker Williams. And then we're going to meet again on the 30th for the second reading And we'll do that at 7 o'clock at night. That way the general public, those that can't make the 5 can make the 7 o'clock one.
So both of them is gonna be at Cracker William. The next two is gonna be at
Yes,
Cracker
ma'am.
William.
Yes, ma'am. Both of them gonna be Cracker Williams. We're gonna try to work on the sound system somehow. And, but they're gonna be both at the Cracker Williams.
June the 16th and June the 30th.
Yes, sir.
And the 16th at 5 and the 30th is at 7.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a safe week and be careful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.